Searching for the truth of how slots work takes an unbiased mindset. The MGM hacks in the news this week are an example. Among my other duties, I was a compliance officer for my business unit at General Electric Aviation, the premier commercial jet engine manufacturer in the world. And before that, a business area export representative for my group at Pratt& Whitney, the premier military jet engine manufacturer of the world. If you've ever worked for an engineering company, you probably had to listen to the training I had to give all the time. If someone contacts you that you don't know and tries to get information out of you about work, tell them no. MGM was attacked by someone pretending to be an MGM employee that they were also by pretending to an MGM employee that they were also an MGM employee and needed help getting past MGM's firewall. Not that that's how they put it. This live stream is an opportunity to ask lots of questions. Today's topic was inspired by your questions from past live streams, comments, questions, and conversations with you, or the latest in gaming industry news. If you have a question, start asking them now. If you have a question, start asking it now. And thanks to my moderators for their help today. Yes, computers can be hacked when they're old or their software is outdated. Security patches exist, right? And we need to apply them because they close these holes. But the far more reliable way to get into a company's computer system is simply to be asked to be let in. Find someone's LinkedIn profile, including their job title, and reach out to them after you've studied who their friends and coworkers are. Then attack in the friendliest, most familiar way possible. You've heard the cliche about how to get a samurai warrior away from his sword, right? You ask him for it. The whole point is to get computer access to upload a small bit of computer code, which both spreads by itself and then locks all company computers. Yes, it's that simple. Stealing the company data isn't necessary. It's not even the same approach. Just lock out the employees from getting access, and that's the hack. The one small bit of information that's also needed is to have a screen display showing up saying, "You've been hacked," and who to contact to get the new password to get access again, and where to send the payment. This is how MGM got hacked. And an MGM employee was being helpful to someone they thought was being honest, and boom, that hacker got the access they needed to hack MGM systems in a 10-minute call. Now, it didn't take 10 minutes. The call took 10 minutes. A lot of research went into it beforehand to try to find an individual that would help, and they might have gone through multiple individuals attacking that way. But the call itself took 10 minutes. The most upgraded and safe computer systems in the world can be bypassed because someone, Serenity, you're here. I want to share that right there. Okay, we good? Can you see that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're done. Back to the presentation. That's for Serenity, cat sighting, and all the others who want the cat sighting. Okay. Let's see. The most upgraded and safe computer systems in the world can be bypassed because someone let attackers in. In the business, this is called social engineering or phishing, the art of manipulating people to gain access to a computer system or sensitive information. I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's commonplace, boring even. What has it been, 20 years since this has been going on? Welcome to the cyber war. Once the attacker has access, all they need to do is install some code called ransomware. Now, please understand that ransomware is not developed by the hacker. There's a whole area of software called software as a service, SaaS. And ransomware as a service. There are companies that sell ransomware for hackers to use. And that's where they got this ransomware. They didn't create it themselves. And I could go on about how these ransomware as a service providers are not writing it for casinos. So anyway, we'll get into that. On September 7th, that's 9 days ago, Caesars was successfully attacked the same way with ransomware. And they reportedly paid the $15 million ransom, which was about half of the $30 million ransom requested, but they negotiated with their attackers and got the password to that ransomware and got access and normal operations back. MGM has reportedly not paid the ransom, resulting with the dramatic news we've all seen. Some other folks have taken this opportunity to claim that slot machines were hacked. But an unbiased mindset and a little bit of knowledge tells us that's just not so. Ransomware is code not created by the hackers, but bought. That spreads and locks the computer systems until a ransom is negotiated and paid. But playing on the fears of patrons is an opportunity for some YouTube creators to get views on YouTube. So, or if you're against gambling, attack the whole gaming industry. And the first group wants your money, and the second group wants to support their cause. Again, ransomware attacks are commonplace. I mean, yawn, that commonplace. Notice that the news reporting we're seeing are attacks on the two biggest casino corporations. Why? Because their attackers think those corporations have the most money and therefore can pay the biggest ransom. Also, there's another detail which I thought was amazing. MGM casinos were attacked all over the United States, but the MGM casinos in China and Macau weren't part of the attack. Why was that? Simple. Because the attackers value their lives. And as a hacker, if you value your life, you don't attack China. So ransomware was installed on Caesars computer systems. The attackers asked for $30 million, and Caesars negotiated it down to a $15 million payment this time. Then ransomware was installed on MGM's computer systems. The attackers asked for some amount of ransom, and MGM has reportedly refused to pay. Ransomware attacks are a repeat business. Again and again, ransomware is installed, the ransom is paid, and everybody continues working until the next time. What I find interesting is the denials coming from the ransomers about these casino attacks. They deny having access to slot machine odds of winning. In fact, they adamantly deny it. Why? Because they love casinos. They love their regular ransomware attacks, and they don't want to mess with the golden goose that pays them so much money. They say to Caesars and MGM, just pay. No harm, no foul, just pay, and you get everything back just like it was. But that attitude is slipping away from them. I hear panic coming from the ransomers. Just pay. Why won't you pay? I can tell you stories. I'm unconcerned about Caesars and MGM getting ransomware attacks. Seriously, it's the cost, the price of doing business. It's not the first time, not the last time that they've been hit. It's just that common. I'm far more concerned about ransomware attacks on hospitals, banks, and critical infrastructure. If the computer systems of a hotel or of a hospital shuts down halfway through someone's open heart surgery, or while patients are on ventilators helping them breathe, people could die. These ransomware attacks, which aren't over, not by far, been going on for a long time, is an example of having an understanding of how the world works, such that searching for the truth of how slots works takes a little knowledge and an unbiased mindset. I hope this helps. Be sure to like this live stream to draw more attention to other slots enthusiasts by signaling the YouTube central server algorithms like it's your favorite local casino. The more, the merrier. Okay, let's see what questions you have. And I want to say hello to everybody, right? Mary Ellen says, excellent kitty sighting. Thank you. You're welcome. So I joked about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, about, well, if only I could train my cats to show up on cue, as though it's impossible. But it turns out you can train your cats. So yes, I have. Um, I have trained my cat to enjoy being up on that shelf. Only one of them, though, and I could tell you how, but it's just where we're at. Yes, so let's see. I want to say hi, Susan. Hi, Susan. Hi, Marion. Jane has a comment. Homebound for 3 to 4 weeks, my first ever surgery, hip replacement. I hear that it's afterwards, it's just like, why did I wait? It's so much better. No walking casinos for a while. I can understand that. Doing fine on my recovery. Great. The kitty is ignoring me, but found a new buddy, the boyfriend. Yeah, it happens. I hope you have a full recovery. And Serenity, good morning, all. See the kitty hanging out in the background. Yep, kind of like a tail in my hair. Yep. And let's see here. And yes, I want to share that. And thank you, Jason, for your $19.99 donation. It is very much appreciated. Jason is a long-term fan. Minimum bet, high limit, 5 spin, paid at Firekeepers. This is a tribal casino in southern Michigan, multiple times last night. Yeah, Friday nights. I wrote an article on that, as you very well know. Congratulations. It's lots of fun. One of my moderators, thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing. Oh, well, sharing's great too. And liking this video, thank you. And I think I mentioned Serenity, notice the cat hanging out in the background. Susan says, congrats, Jason. I know Susan is also at Firekeepers, Tribal Casino in southern Michigan. Steve is here. Hi, Steve. Steve is from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And Jason says, hello, slots enthusiasts. Yep. And everybody's wishing Jane well, getting well soon. And yep. Shwana says hello to everybody. And Magpie 11 has given a $20 donation. Thank you very much, Magpie 11. It is very much appreciated. Let's see here. Questions. Tom has a question. I believe the gaming networks are segregated from the operations networks. Of course they would be. The gaming networks are multiple. One is, of course, the player interface. And do I want to say thank you again to somebody? I don't. I thought I saw another donation. Yeah, I mean, there is no reason for critical systems that don't require more than what they need. Then how do I put this? There are no need for like the central server to have internet access. The only thing that might be to turn it on occasionally, but that would be for any upgrades from the slot machine manufacturer who makes central servers. So yeah, it would be, why would you leave something open for that vulnerability? Yeah, it's just obvious. Yeah. And there's other systems. When you get a hand pay, the machine locks up, and next thing you know, a slot attendant is next to you. How did they find out? Because that's a network. Yeah, multiple networks. Uh, yeah, I agree, Tom. Do I ever do my 5-spin method with max bet? All the time. But I am new to Reno. And so I am new. These casinos here are new to me. So first thing you do, I mean, when I was in Ohio, it's not been a year yet, almost. When I was in Ohio, I had already figured out all the casinos that I enjoyed going to. So go play high limits. But here, Peppermill, I mean, there's 13 casinos in Reno. It's going to take me a minute to figure out if I should make high limits. And then I'm glad that you asked, do I ever do my 5-spin method with maximum bet? For one thing, it's not just my 5-spin method. It's 5-spin method on highly visible machines at good times at the casino. There's a bunch of things going on, which it may be too much for you if you've taken my course. If you've taken my courses, if you go to professorslots.com, you can see my mouse here. It says courses sign in, and these are my courses. And if you take my $97 course, you will find out about each of my strategies, and one of which is the 5-spin method. But I barely touch on combining the strategies so that you use the 5-spin method during highly visible times to 5-spin method during highly visible machines at good times at the casino. What does even that mean? Morning after holidays, there's 4 different strategies that you can combine, but it is not easy. Yeah, it does take a little bit of practice, and that is covered in my Slots Labs course. The fundamentals course, 30 days, the advanced course, Slots Labs. And max bet is coming, but until I learn my casino, it's just too much of a waste. I'm much more conservative about saving my money until I know how to win. I got so good at it. Hi, Gary. I got so good at understanding what my casinos were doing in Ohio that it stopped feeling like gambling. I was just like, this is not fun anymore. I'm just going and getting money, and that's it. I do enjoy the challenge of learning a casino. My moderator has a question. Is there much risk to slots players being part of their players club holder list, card holder list, or as an app user from the casinos attacked? Is there much risk? Not future. If you are not a app user from the casinos attacked, then there's no risk. If you are an app user, the risk is already passed. If something happened, it happened already. The only people that might consider your question are those that are going, well, I was thinking about becoming a member of Caesars Rewards. I was thinking about becoming a member of MGM's rewards program, but now I'm not so sure. And that is a long-term problem for MGM. They've got a public relations issue. If you are already a member, if anything happened, it's already happened. That's not risk. It's over and done. If you want to become a member, people are going to be, no matter the truth of the matter, no matter if anybody was hacked or not, with their personal information, those people are going to reconsider joining the club. So those clubs. And so MGM and Caesars has a problem because they get a lot of business that way. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know you had a metal hip, Magpie. And it's lots of fun to ask the exact same question. Any trouble getting through the airports? Walked through Bellagio yesterday, and 1/3 of the Magpie is in Southern California, but also spends a lot of time in Las Vegas. She says walked through the Bellagio yesterday, and 1/3 of the machines were down. Slot attendants are still having to hand pay all cash outs, and this is all because the MGM has chosen not to pay the ransom. Because it's not about paying the ransom, it's about paying the ransoms. It's going to have it's a repeat business for these attackers. Oh, well, this is a company that pays, they say about Caesars, and MGM is hoping that they won't be attacked again because hackers will learn that MGM won't pay. So there could be saving millions of dollars in the future. On the other hand, this is terrible for their business, terrible public relations issue. What Bellagio is owned by MGM, and 1/3 of the machines are down. It's just ouch, ouch, ouch. Linda says this is an awesome group. Thank you. Magpie says most of the time my hip does not trigger the metal detectors except for St. Louis and Denver. Go figure. And best wishes on she wishes Jane her best wishes with the surgery, as do several others. Serenity and Jane says two. Says, oh, I go through Denver at some point, sometime mostly Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, and Kansas. Thanks for the heads up. And thank you, Len, for your $9.99 donation. It is very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, and Linda says, is it coincidence that I won 2 hand pays without my player's card? Yes, that's kind of the thing we were talking about, the segregated systems. The system where the odds are has nothing to do with player card information. It's separate, and so a lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people feel like I'm not going to play with my card, and nobody should. I've had people come up to me and say, take your card out of the machine and you'll win more. And they came back later when I was getting a hand pay, and they're like, see, you took my advice. And I said, no, I didn't. Card's still in the machine. These are, I was getting 7 hand pays that night. And I'm like, that's with my card. Gee, maybe if I took my card out, I'd get 14. No. So yeah, people worry about that. If you are concerned that maybe you would get more hand pays without your card, all you're giving up is your free play, your tier points. You might try it for a while and see if it makes you more comfortable. Great. What I've talked to people about this, and they just go on and on and on about it, and I'm like, so it's the point is not that, and I don't think this is you, but the point is not that they are concerned. They're just like, it's their thing to talk about it, and don't use your player's card if you have a suspicion, and you're not impacted by if you don't need cruises, or if you never got to high tier and you don't care for your free play, or then you're not giving up much. But if that's the whole reason why you're gambling, then you are. So it really depends on you whether or not those comps matter to you, and then you're good. Yeah, I was going to tell you a story about Serenity says MGM hackers posted a poorly written whine about MGM not cooperating. Yes, why won't you pay? Pay? Why won't you pay? I've had those conversations. Uh, I had a family member whose phone was stolen by her supposed friends, and uh, on that phone was my telephone number, and so they called me with this whole made up story, which I had training for, because of the compliance officer, the stuff going on in engineering corporations I was telling you about earlier. I I just like, and they were like, your relative, I won't say which, your relative has been picked up and she's currently in jail. She left us her phone to call you and let you know she needs money. She needs bail money, and so if you, I will give you the telephone number of the jail, and you can pay them. And while they're doing all this, I went to the police blog for the jail that they were talking about in Florida, and I saw that their latest. They have these. They post these things. The latest arrest. Her name wasn't on it, and the telephone number they gave me was a personal residence, which I reverse looked up on Google and went to. I was talking to the person on the phone, and I'm like, I'm not going to call that number. Why not? It's a personal residence, and I gave them the address of that personal residence, and I said, this is not the police officer on duty at the desk at the jail. That's an entirely different number. And they're just like, why won't you give me money? Why won't you pay? Why? And I was just like, wow, and Sarnasy says MGM hackers posted a poorly written whine about MGM not cooperating. I've heard that whine. It's just whining. Yeah. Uh, uh, Cheryl says 3 new room open at Potawatomi, learning each separately. Yes, 3 new casino rooms at Potawatomi. It's in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Wisconsin. And Potawatomi is kind of like far away from other casinos, so it can be a little isolated, and therefore they don't see themselves as being competitors. They don't see themselves as having local competitors, and they know it. Yeah. Shawana says, question. This information is interesting. I didn't know this ransom situation is an old and ongoing problem. Yeah. As good as computer systems are getting, hacking is becoming harder and harder and harder. There are some companies that refuse to upgrade their computers, software or hardware, because of the expense, and those can be hurt. Hey, they're running Microsoft Office 1998, and it's like, wow, we can all use all the old hacks. I don't mean to say we, but they can use all the old hacks. But then a lot of those systems are at airports, at hospitals, and really the point of the attackers is to get money. And so the attacking casinos, how hard is that to figure out? Oh, casinos, I mean, even if they don't have casinos, because casinos, it's a hard business. But if you're an outsider, you're like, well, of course casinos have money, obviously. And it's, again, today's topic is uncovering the truth of how slots work takes an unbiased mindset. They don't have it. Hackers don't have it. Oh, obviously, let's attack the casinos. And now they've got a big problem. The casinos that are trying to get out of this, not pay the ransom, and they didn't train their personnel. They may have had the best computers in the world, and they generally do because everything depends on the computer systems at casinos for 10 or more years. If they can just they haven't trained their personnel well enough. All it takes is just one who is also on. I mean, have you been part of engineering companies? I have, that have said, do not be on social media. Do not mention where you work on social media. I mean, it can be various things. Do not post your photo. Do not, do all this other stuff. Because we don't want you to actually get the telephone call where you might be phished, where you might be social engineered, where you might be manipulated by, crying people. I just want to try to, I've only been working here for 6 months and this and that and the other thing. And they're using words that would be internally known because they put a lot of research into it. And I just want to get access to my whatever. And they know exactly what they want access to. And they say it in the, Serenity said, MGM hackers are whining. No, that's their skill set. That's what works. I just want to get into the system. Yeah. And then, install this ransomware. Hi, Linda. Thank you so much for the donation. It is very much appreciated. Thanks for being you, is this little symbol that she's sharing. Thank you. I've been thinking through various things about my life lately, and I'm like, I think that mostly what's going on is I'm me. Yeah. It's lots of fun. My moderator says, sounds more like a ripple rather than making a splash. Easy money. The hackers are thinking easy money. And for Caesars, it was. When they attacked Caesars and Caesars paid half of what they asked for, okay, great, $15 million payday. Well, not the same as a $30 million, but we doubled it anyway. And MGM's not paying, and they're just, the hackers of MGM are just like, oh, we got bills to pay. This wasn't cheap, the ransomware as a service software that they got from other people. That's not cheap. We need this to succeed, and it's a business, and none of that is going to work with MGM, who says, yeah, we know how to hurt you, because they may not have trained everyone well enough to not be phished. But there are IT persons, particularly now that they've hired people in the last week to like, what do I do? How do I handle this? And again, it's not about the money that they would have paid for the ransom if they'd chosen to pay it. It's about the next time, 2-3 times a year. They're trying to nip that in the bud, and they're willing to say no to the ransom despite the public relation problem this is going to cause, because they did a financial analysis of which one costs less money, and fighting it and scrubbing the systems one by one. Only a third of the machines are shut down at MGM casinos across the country. They'll get them all back up. They're taking the hard route. They're taking the route where they're not going to have to spend again and again and again and again to this ransomware. Good for them, but then you will have questions that will be like, what about my Caesars Rewards credit card? What's going on there? What about my gameplay? What do they get? What do they have from my player? What's on my player's card? What's and what did I tell the casino? Did I give them my social security number? This is just fear mongering. I'm sorry. People are like running off the rails. But if you have an unbiased mindset, you can protect yourself. Yeah. Milwaukee. Cheryl says Potawatomi is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yep. Lower southeast corner. Yeah. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions. It's just kind of both fascinating to see this ransomware taking place that's so common, finally hitting casinos. If these hackers are at all human, having human emotions, there are definitely some things they don't like to do. You don't attack China. If you value the lives of yourself and your family, you don't attack hotels for two reasons, or hospitals for two reasons. One, people could die, and then it becomes, that much more serious as a crime. But also, do they even have money? Can they even pay $30 million? And they come back with a counter offer of 15,000. That's all we got. But can they live with themselves? Some of them, sure. But, if you attack a bank, it feels like, yeah. Well, what's the question from T? What's the best way to scout a new casino? Well, first off, just the whole idea of going for a walk. I tell people, look up from a slot machine, go for a walk. You're 50%, you're halfway there if you just like walk around. And I'm showing demo videos now where I'm holding my camera up, blurring people's faces when I look at them directly, and you can see how I walk up from a long distance up to a machine. I mean, I haven't walked around exactly this way. There's so many demo videos I could be doing, just many. But maybe I should walk a casino, not play any slots whatsoever, and say, see, here's the buffet, here's the sushi place, here's the escalator, see how it comes down to these machines, and just kind of give a, how do you scout a new casino? That sounds like a fine thing to do. But there are just so many questions that need to be answered with demo videos now that I have permission to record in several. I mean, I'd just love to go back to Choctaw Durant, WinStar. WinStar would probably be like a 2-hour video of just walking. And I'd be like, well, I got my 15 miles in. Being the largest casino in the world, with whenever Choctaw Durant, which is about an hour away, isn't. They're each building more casinos, and they raise up what's going on with them. Just walk around. First thing you do. Some people never have. Where's the cafe? Is it open? Are the machines facing it? It's one of them. How hard is that? Yeah, I know. To go to a casino and not spend money sounds like a challenge. Well, it is. And it's a worthy challenge, because I want you to win. Not win and lose it all, because how important is that? I want you to win, and then I want you to run out of the casino. Get out of the casino with your winnings. People tell me they hear my voice in their head after they win. Run. It's, by my calculation, it's 5 times harder to leave with your winnings than it is to win in the first place. That's why we talk about it so often in my Slots Labs course. We talk about every week in the 6-week course to which the next one we just started this week ends the first week of the 6 weeks for the Slots Labs. It just started. The next one doesn't start for about a month. Get in now if you're interested, because we do talk about learning to win and then leaving with your winnings, and that's just so important. I also share handmade data for the Kashada, which I'm up to 15 months. If you go to the website for Kashada, you can dig through it and see the last month. Every hand pay, time, date, amount, ID, game title, little abbreviation saying whether or not it's programmable or progressive or multi-denomination, and then there's a multi-game, the denomination of it, and a map, which I provide all this information for you. But not just for the last month. I encourage you to go to Kashada, get this information. You can use it at your casino, and I explain how in Slots Labs. So sign up. Lots of people have, and they've enjoyed it. So yeah, walking and leaving is a challenge. I try to tell people, figure out the best way to connect to people, and this is money well spent. In fact, in the last month, how much money have you lost that if you knew a little better, you wouldn't have lost? Is it $500 or less? Is it, if you use the 3 easy monthly payments of $179 every month that you go to the casino, would you be losing $179? Yeah, probably more like $500 a month. And so it's economical to do this. Yeah, I need to go back to I need to go back to WinStar. I just there's a lot to be done there. Yeah. Gamblebox, having a little lockable wallet. Sure, it's hard for people in Canada. However, their bills are Canadian dollar bills are not just dollars, but 10 Canadian dollars and 20 Canadian dollars. They're polymers, they're plastic. And so it's real hard to use a gambling box for that. If you go to any of my articles on my website, and here's a review for Rivers Casino Pittsburgh. Over here on the side is the gamble box. So there's 2 of them. There's a smaller one, doesn't hold as much, but it's a smaller cost. And then there's a larger one that has a slit in the top, and there's links to those there. And it's on every page except the home page at my website. And that some people find it very valuable to lock it up, leave the key at home, and then they get money out. Sometimes it's that hard. And which I completely respect. It is not an easy thing to accomplish, to do all this, to get away with money. I respect the process. You should too. That's one of the things that we talk about in Slots Labs is if you are not getting away with money after you win, take it more seriously than you have been. Realize how hard it is. Respect how hard it is so that you can get away with money. If you're not, doing hard enough, if you're not, if you're not getting out with enough, respect. It's how hard it is. So you also said, and running unless you have a new hip joint. Yes. Although once you're healed, you might be able to run where before you could not. Yes, absolutely. And Edwin says, at my casino in Illinois, I tried the 5-spin method. What I have found best between 5th and 10th spin, it hits. Yes. I have chosen 8 spins because of how conservative I am financially. And I didn't want to do 3 because I want to be more risky than that, but I didn't want to go to 8. because, if it's not working, then you lose money. And so I like 5. So I call it the 5 spin method. Turns out a lot of people enjoy the word 8. And I should make a video 8 spin method. Again, this is not going to 5 spins, not going to 8 spins. It's stopping with your first win. And I barely ever, with highly visible machines at my casino that I'm learning well and playing at times, which they're letting people win because I can hear it, combining my strategies, I rarely get to 5 spins. So if I made it 8, there'd be no difference. Still left on the second spin, third spin. Yeah. If 5 spin to 10 spin works for you, great. Yeah, I encourage people to learn what works for you at your casino. I encourage people to learn their casino. Yeah. Thank you. We'll see. There's a lot to do. I have a long list of demo videos to do, and I still have a bunch recorded. So I will try to get to that eventually. Yeah. Okay. No other questions? Okay. That's it. What a great live stream. I'll see you next Thursday. Emil and I will see you next Thursday. Emil? No? Okay. Emil and I will see you next Saturday at noon Eastern. In the meantime, I highly recommend that you watch this demonstration video on using my 5 spin method combined with highly visible machines at Peppermill Casino in Reno, Nevada. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.